With good news for today from Baptist Press, I'm Brandon Porter. At least 97 million more people have fallen into extreme poverty globally since the COVID-19 pandemic began 2 years ago, according to World Relief. Setbacks during the COVID-19 pandemic have reversed about 3 or 4 years of progress in the fight against global hunger. The worst outcomes have been seen in the poorest countries and among women and children. At least 265 million people are facing acute food insecurity globally. Southern Baptist Compassion Ministry Sent Relief has seen similar effects. In the last 2 years, they've participated in 593 ministry projects with more than 52 churches serving 1.5 million people. A seminary professor says he believes the number of churches searching for youth pastors exceeds the number of student pastors available to serve by several thousand. Richard Ross, a senior professor of student ministry at Southwestern Seminary, says he gets calls from churches looking for candidates on a weekly basis. He rarely has names to share. Shane Pruitt, the National Next Generation Director of the North American Mission Board, says the same thing happens to him. He says he receives calls on a weekly basis asking if there is a shortage of youth pastors in the U.S. In a story on Baptist Press, reporter Scott Barkley says there are many possible reasons for this shortage. There isn't a pipeline of up-and-coming leaders. Many young pastors are pursuing church planting, and sometimes salaries for student pastors are too low for them to provide for their family. Ross calls on Christians to pray that God will raise up student pastors and encourage them when they believe God is truly calling them to student ministry.
Good News for Today is made possible through our friends at the Voice of the Martyrs, a nonprofit organization that serves persecuted Christians around the world. Founded in 1967 by Richard and Sabina Wurmbrand, VOM is dedicated to inspiring believers to deepen their commitment to Christ and to fulfill His Great Commission, no matter the cost. Find out more and sign up for their free monthly magazine at vom.org/good news.
In a piece on Baptist Press, Todd Kaunitz, lead pastor of New Beginnings Church in Longview, Texas, encourages Christians to press ahead with what he calls Jesus' Plan A, to become disciples who make disciples. He says there is no Plan B. Kaunitz encourages Christians to move forward in obedience, knowing they have the power and the presence of Jesus as they live out the Great Commission. He says Christians must remember that through the indwelling of the Holy Spirit, God's presence is with us. He is Emmanuel, God with us. You can read this full piece and other stories at baptistpress.com. Thanks for listening to Good News for Today. I'm Brandon Porter.